Good evening. Welcome to a regular meeting of the Oak Harbor City Council. Today is February 4th, 2020. It is 6 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order at this time. I'll invite you now to stand and join us in an invocation tonight led by Daniel Potter, youth pastor from the Family Bible Church. And following that, I will lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor?
Thank you. A moment of silence and prayer, please. Isaiah 55, 8 through 9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are our ways my ways, your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Lord God, we know that your thoughts are not ours, that your ways are not ours. For the heavens are higher than the earth, so are your ways higher than our ways, your thoughts than our thoughts. But we ask that you reveal to us your thoughts throughout this meeting. Let our ways be aligned with your ways throughout this time. Let this meeting be aligned with you and a reflection of your heavenly activity. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. I invite you to join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I think this evening we are missing our Mayor Pro Tem Munns will be absent this evening. Councilor Heisen has indicated she'll be here and just be a few minutes late, so I would entertain a motion to excuse Mayor Pro Tem. Councilor Larson.
I move to excuse Councilor Pro Tem from this
Second.
evening.
So we've got a motion, a second to excuse Mayor Pro Tem Munns. Motion by Councilor Larson, second by Councilor Servadius. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. And as I said, we're expecting Councilor Heisen before long. So we'll move to the agenda. We operate with an agenda, which is, should see a copy in the back of the room. And it'll be approved as presented unless anybody wants to change any order. Okay, seeing none. We are going to immediately go tonight to our citizen comment period. So citizens at this time may comment on subjects of interest not listed on the agenda or items listed on the consent agenda. To ensure comments are properly recorded, please state your name clearly into the microphone. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes to ensure all citizens have sufficient time to speak. So there are a couple who have signed in. I'll call those, and if you haven't signed in, you'll still get an opportunity. Barbara Arms. Barbara, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. I'm Barbara Arms. I live at 351 Northeast Noonan Loop, and I'm coming here about the water issue. I realize I spent about 40 minutes with City Administrator Blaine and one of the other ones in the office about the water issue, and it's a great concern for a lot of people that aren't even here. I realize that we had to have the sewer, we get this, but the outrageous increase in rates, it makes it really hard on families. You're talking about, I have a minimum of 2 people in my house, 1250 square feet. My bill total with water and garbage and sewer is $171.68 every month. So now you're talking about putting another 20, another 50. Pretty soon you're going to price everybody out of being able to have the basic necessities. I spoke about why do we need garbage and recycling every week? Why do we need recycling? You know, why aren't we innovative in how we look at this? And also how we decide who's low income. You know, our standards are pretty low. Why are we up to 100% for disabled, maybe 75%? Why are we not having our bills online? And then we don't have to pay for the paper to send it out unless somebody wants it. There's a lot of innovative solutions. So I'm asking you to really think outside the box and figure how we can get costs somewhere else so that the water bill isn't coming. People are upset. I was in the bank. One lady said if I came, I'd probably be arrested. So people aren't happy. I know people have lived on the island for a long time, got used to it in one way. We're new. But this is an expensive proposition. And it keeps going up and up, and we're just ka-ching, ka-ching. So when you want a new school or new this or that, well, guess who's not going to be voting? We won't. You won't be getting it because now we can't afford it because of the water. So I just ask you to really look at all the details of how you do rates, how people are coming online with new systems. Why are they getting a free ride and people have been here forever aren't? Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Barbara. Kristen Anderson. Welcome, Chris.
Hi, Bob. I represent, Christian Anderson's my name. I live at 2226 Cove Drive in Oak Harbor. And I represent the Gary Oak subdivision, new plat in town that you just approved back in October, 4 months ago. We've been working to try to get our clearing and grading permit to get started here as soon as possible. The reason I'm here is this sewer issue keeps coming up, and if our plat's done, there's going to be 130 houses, each paying $150 in fees roughly a month, and I think that adds up to close to $500,000 a year. So the sooner we get going on that, I think we can help with this sewer problem a little bit. But it seems like the permits are taking a while for us. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Chris. Anyone else?
Mayor, council members, my name's Ed Fry. I live at 1677 Northeast Sumner Drive. Appreciate y'all letting us speak tonight. I'm up here about the water bill myself. I've been here 31 years almost, and owned a house since 2003. And it just seems like everything keeps going up and up and up and up. Now, I do okay financially right now, but eventually I'd like to retire. And I'd like to retire in Oak Harbor. This is a place that I've called home now for a long time, and I've raised 5 kids here. So if you keep raising these prices, I won't be able to retire here, and you'll run a lot of us guys and gals out of here. And that's not good for the city. I know there's a lot of military folks here, but they're not 100% of everybody. Some of us love this place, and we like it here, and we'd like to keep our finances down. And we have a lot of other things that we need to work on as well, like our infrastructure. The roads are crumbling. So I would like to put more money towards that than I would the water bill. Unfortunately, I don't know if that's going to happen. But at this price right here, am I allowed to ask y'all a question?
You can ask a question, probably won't get an immediate answer.
Okay. I'm just wondering, how much more is it going to go up? And why is it going up? Because I thought we all voted to pass this so that y'all could pay for the sewage plant downtown, but now we're paying more and more, it seems like, than what we ever thought we were. That's the way it appears to me. And we always get these levies that come up on our tax time, and I usually vote negative for them, but this is why. Because the unforeseen that we get hit with, I can't keep paying more, and you'll drive people like me out of here. And just not looking forward to that. So I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me.
Thank you, Mr. Fry. I can tell you one answer is that the council will meet in a couple of weeks for the second meeting to consider those rates at that time, and there will be probably more discussion about the rates, and they'll either make a decision or not 2 weeks from now.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Fry. Other citizen comments? Anything else? Anybody? Okay. Thank you for that. We always appreciate the community's involvement. We need to hear from you, and we appreciate it. Thank you. I know it's not easy to get up there, and thank you. So at this time, we'll go on to our consent agenda. So we have items A through D, and unless anybody wants to pull one of those off to talk about it, they'll be approved as presented. Okay, so seeing no discussion there, we'll move on to mayor's comments. I wanted you to know that if this is your first day in Oak Harbor, it usually doesn't rain this much. Usually you don't see rain and snow to this degree. Just want you to know that if it's your first day. Come back, the sun's liable to shine again very soon. A couple of things since our last meeting. The Association of Washington Cities held their annual Action Day, which is more than, it's Action Days, combination of 2 to 3 days in Olympia. There were 3 counselors that were there, the city administrator and myself also attended those days down there. We did meet or talk with our representatives and our new senator. We actually had a sit-down meeting with our new senator to tell them about Oak Harbor, remind them that we're here and that we also have needs. We also have concerns, especially mandates that the state might have that will cost us additional money, or the citizens. So we spent time down there, and it rained a whole lot more in Olympia than it pretty much every day down there. So it's nice to be back. And that said, I should say, I know Councilor Wiesner, Councilor Larson had been there before, but Councilor Mack got to see his first City Action Day, so it was a good group, good turnout. And then Saturday, this last Saturday, all of City Council participated in a retreat. So it was pretty much an all-day retreat together. And all of our department heads attended that retreat. Thank you. That means many of them came after a full work week and spent most of the day on Saturday. And other staff included, besides the department heads. It was a good day of discussion for council and staff to be able to make some plans together to go forward. So our next meeting of our city council will be held Tuesday, February 18th, and that's the meeting I was referring to, where we will discuss rates further, and that'll be a 6 p.m. meeting just like this meeting. And with that said, I think that's the end of my remarks. We'll go on to council at this time. Anybody? Councilor Wiesner?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to reiterate a couple things the Mayor said. First off, thank you very much for coming tonight and giving your comments. We know it's not easy to stand up in front of us and make those comments, but it truly is appreciated. It's something that resonates very, very well with us that are sitting up here, right? We want to hear the thoughts of the people in the community. So please, I certainly ask folks to take the time when you've got something that you want to voice, bring it here, please, and let us hear it. Secondly, I also wanted to reiterate my thanks to the city staff. You know, it was a long week, and then we sat through a very long meeting on Saturday, and I think there was a lot of good discussion that took place that day that's going to help us move forward with the next biennium budget process. So, hats off to staff for working all week and then coming and spending their Saturday with us, answering all of our questions. We appreciate it.
Okay. Councilor Larson.
Thank you, Mayor. I didn't want to pull it out of the consent items, but I did want to talk about item C, the purchase authorization for utilities copy replacement. And the only reason I want to talk about that is because I wanted to recognize the efforts of the city staff, because this is one of those things where things get old, they need to be replaced, contracts run out, and we need to reissue new contracts. And a copier, when you're working with bills and budgets, can be a rather important part of that process. And just to show the diligence that is going into effect and taken into account as our departments are spending money and entering into these contracts. This is a 5-year contract for a new copier, and the actual cost month over month went down $45 a month. They got multiple bids from multiple companies and really did a lot of homework and are getting about the same level of service, and that's a $540 a year savings over the next 60 months, next 5 years. So I just want to tell the staff that I appreciate them looking every time that there's an expenditure at how they can do it in the most economical fashion and save the city money, even if it's a little bit here and there. Those pennies do add up. So thank you.
Thanks, Councilor. I appreciate it. Anyone else? Council comments? Okay. Thank you. Seeing none, we'll go to City Administrator.
I'll be brief. I just want to acknowledge that I'll continue to provide a comprehensive update in my city administrator report at our workshop. Update you at, and I know I'm from staff, speaking for staff, we thank you for the effort in working together and the partnership we had with the workshop. And personally, it was my pleasure to go down to City Action Days and be part of that. So it snowed out last year when the mayor and I tried to go down, so a little bit better weather this time. So very informative, and it's a good opportunity to meet with our legislatures, and we do that legislative priorities, and it's a good opportunity for us to kind of put that in action and try to get them to help us. So they're certainly a partner with us.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so we are going towards now our public hearings and meetings section, and we have one item tonight, and if you would like to speak to that, you'll get an opportunity at that time. You don't have to sign in on the sheet provided. To ensure comments are properly recorded, though, at that time we'd like you to please state your name clearly into the microphone and try to limit your comments to 3 minutes to ensure that all have a time to speak. So at this point, we will go to our only item for tonight's meeting. Under public hearings and meetings, we have under Section 8A, Contracts and Agreements, authorization to award Windjammer Park Promenade Ramp Project. And we have our city engineer, Mr. Jim Bridges.
Thank you. So tonight we come to you with the request to award the contract for the Windjammer Park ramp, as the mayor stated. This project was originally scheduled and scoped to be done as part of the Clean Water Facility project. However, when the design was offered to the contractor Hoffman, they came back with about $140,000 price to build it. So we pulled it in-house, and we did the design in-house, staff and myself. We went out to bid January 7th. We opened the bids January 21st. We received 6 bids. Or 7 bids, excuse me, with the lowest bid being submitted by PNW Civil Incorporated for the amount of $75,791.08. The engineer's estimate was $101,792.12. All bids include the Washington State sales tax. The bid was reviewed for responsiveness, and we recommend that it be awarded to PNW Civil Incorporated. However, we did receive one bid protest from contractor Neptune General Contractors. That's included in your council packet. Let me turn to that page here. Travis Crabb, who is with Neptune Marine, submitted the protest. He had 2 issues of contention. One, that PNW Civil Incorporated their bid was unresponsive. He had claimed that they had failed to acknowledge the 2 addendums that we had sent out during the bid process. And number two, Neptune General Contractors, not to be confused with Neptune Marine LLC. They were the second low bid, and he had stated that he didn't feel that they were qualified to perform the work. We reviewed the bids again, P&W Civil. They did, in fact, acknowledge the two addendums, and so Mr. Crabb's protest was unfounded. We responded to Mr. Crabb to that effect, and it is our intent to come to the council tonight to ask that a bid be awarded for the price of $75,791.08. Stand for questions.
Okay. So before we do that, see if the public has any input or questions at this item. If you do, come to the microphone.
Once again, Eddie Fry, what is a promenade ramp? What is that?
It's a fancy word for a walkway.
A walkway?
Yep. That's the big sidewalk alongside the
So this was already put into the budget once for the water park down there. If we can't pay for that now without raising water bills, why are we adding more funds to it by putting in a walkway that already exists down there?
Thank you, Mr. Fry. We'll,
So this was a negotiated agreement with the adjoining property owners. This provides an ADA access ramp from the lower parking lot up to the walkway to the clean water facility and to Windjammer Park. Again, this project was scheduled and was funded through the clean water facility project. However, because of the price they gave us, we felt that it would be best if we took it out and bid it on open market. So that's how we chose to do it, and we lowered the bid by approximately
Mr. Fry,
$70,000.
were you coming back? Yeah, we're done with questions at this time. I'm sorry. Councilor Larson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Bridges, for this. This was something that we were contractually obligated to provide. This was in the works all along, and the contractor that we had been using came in with a bid of $140,000. And then again, being fiscally responsive, you guys responsible, you went out for bids. You got 7. I looked at those. This is the best bid of all of those that we looked at, including the engineering firm the construction firm that we have used in the past. And I did read your response addressing those 2 concerns, and it was professional, and it did address all those concerns. And based on all the information that you have provided and the work that you have done, I'm going to support this. Thank you for the work that you have done to date on this.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you.
Councilor Servadius.
Thank you, Mr. Fry. I hear your comments and your concerns. And I've sat through those meetings, but for someone, the general public that's seeing this, can you go through a little more detail as to what this actually is and why it's between us and Peoples?
Right.
So go through, so it has been included in the project, but staff was not comfortable with the price, so there was money allotted for it, but for more than, I mean, this has been a discussion item for more than a year, probably.
Well, yeah, I've been here 14 months, and it's been on the table
Yeah.
since then.
So trying to figure out ways to get that cost down, and so that's what they've been working through. It's not a new item, it's been in there the whole time, but, and it is, there's unfortunately nothing inexpensive, it seems like these days, but could you just go through a little more detail as to what we're doing there?
Right, so this ramp will be actually built in the lower parking lot at the People's Bank. I believe it's also the DSHS office. It will provide ADA access, meet those requirements. It's approximately, the ramp is probably 60 feet long. It rises about 3 feet, brings the folks up to the large walkway that runs on the west side of the clean water facility, takes them out to the park. So again, it was a contractual obligation with the adjoining property owners that had been negotiated several years ago. And as Mr. Servadius said, you know, you look at this and you're thinking, there's no way this is going to cost us much. And that's typical. You get towards the end of a project like the clean water facility, the contractor wants to get done, you know, and you bring a change order to them and do this, they're going to want the biggest price they can get because they really don't want to do any more work. They just want to move on to the next job. And so we pulled it out and we said, okay, we can do this in-house. And so we did. And so we bid it kind of we solicited bids per the small works roster regulations of the state, and we also advertised it. So we basically flooded the market with this advertisement for bids. So that's why we received 7 bids, all competitive. They range from $75,791 to $120,983. So again, this is, I believe, a wise use of the public's money. It fulfills our contractual obligation, and I ask that the council approve the award.
Any other council questions or input? Yes, Councilor Weiser.
I just have one comment. Whatever you did to solicit bids on this one, keep doing it. I mean, seven bids. I think that's the most bids we've received on a project in the last couple of years. That has been a true challenge for us, actually finding contractors willing to submit competitive bids. I'm happy to see that. So whatever you did, just keep doing that.
Well, as long as we're still in the small works roster process, I think we're going to follow that format. Well, we can use the roster and call up and make phone calls and solicit bidders, but we can also advertise it. Advertising it costs more, but I think it obviously paid off in this bid itself.
Yeah, obviously saving us some money. Good job.
Thank you.
Councilor Larson.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to authorize the mayor to sign the construction contract with PNW Civil Incorporated as presented.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion, a second, and the motion reads like the, recommended action in the packet. Any further input or question? Motion by Councilor Larson, second by Councilor Wassinger. Seeing no other questions, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bridges. So we have concluded our agenda for the evening. Seeing no other items, I assume that, yes.
I move to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.